That's a really good question, because it is a common misconception that people need to have a lot of money to see a financial advisor. Perhaps that was the old-fashioned way of doing things many years ago, but financial advice is something that a lot of people need no matter what their asset situation is, whether that is because you're going through a difficult time in life, or a divorce, or death, or aged care. We all need financial advice at some stage. So here at DLP Life Design, we just charge people on a fee-for-service basis depending on what service you require. It makes no difference whatsoever how much you have in your superannuation account or in your bank account. Whatever service you require, you'll be billed based upon that accordingly. So it's very clear and transparent, and you can make decisions accordingly. As a specialist aged care advisor, I actually end up dealing with a lot of people who may have lower means. I mean, we help people of all different wealth levels to go into aged care because it is difficult for everybody. But in some ways, it can be even harder and even more complex for people of lower means to find a good aged care solution that they can afford. So I have a lot of low means, what we call low means residents, come to me for assistance in that area. And it can make a huge difference for people to have help in these areas. One story, I guess, we've told a lot of really horrible stories today, but I'd like to tell a good story. So I did have a client who was an elderly lady who was single and lived in a retirement village on her own. And she had dementia, she had Lewy body dementia, which meant that she often was very afraid and lacked a lot of confidence, was afraid to go outside. She was afraid of using electronic devices, was too scared to turn on the TV or to put on the toaster. And because unfortunately her sight was declining, she couldn't even sit down and read a book properly. So she spent her life very isolated, not going outside, nothing, no noise in the house, sitting there alone with her thoughts. The family were concerned that she wasn't eating regularly and that she perhaps wasn't always taking her medication. So her daughter came to see me and talked about how we can try to help her mum and potentially get her into residential care. So it was a bit of an ordeal. It took quite a while to look at different places and for the daughter to choose somewhere where she thought her mum could be happy. Of course, her mum was terrified, and the day she moved into care, she didn't want to go, and she took a lot of encouragement and cajoling to even walk in the front door. But as soon as she went in, the staff were amazing. They welcomed her in, they talked to her, they got to know her, and they very quickly came to realise that she used to be a very keen singer when she was a youngster. And of course, they encouraged her to come into their choir and start singing with them. And it wasn't very long after that that she became one of the star singers in the choir at the residential care facility. And so a few weeks later, the daughter called me up to say, "Brenda, I go and visit my mum every day, and the problem now is I go to her room and I can never find her." So that is such a wonderful problem to have. And that's where having good advice from a lawyer, from a financial advisor, and from a move manager can make all the difference in your life. We're telling you the terrible stories, but there are wonderful stories out there as well as to what a difference it can make.